Hello, welcome to the second in 3 days of one of our Omnitude live streams. They're like buses, you wait forever and then two turn up at once. My name's Jon Harris, I'm the Chief Branding Officer for Omnitude. This rather suave gentleman next to me I'll allow to introduce himself.
Thanks, John. I'm Ben Bennett, I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Europe, Middle East and Africa region for Omnitude. I guess a quick thanks to the production team for making that absolutely atrocious video of me and you merging.
Yes.
Did you see the comments that we had? Someone from the community kindly said, it's a description, it looks like Paul Bettany and Donald Sutherland are about to have an interview. So cheers guys, thanks very much.
Yeah. You get the good looking one, I see.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm here today because I was actually late for the other video.
Wasn't he just?
This guy wasn't a happy man. So I put my foot down and a proper prima donna wanted my own video. But I actually figured it would be a good reason for us to get in front of the camera, explore a little bit about what happened in the last video with James, both from a technical perspective, and tie it more into what that means for you, what that means for the businesses, what that means for the people that we're talking to. So I don't know if many of you read it, but I had a little bit of a moan on Medium the other day.
Yeah, I remember it well.
About selling. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a sales guy. I make no apologies for it. And one of the main issues that I've found throughout my whole career, and I was guilty of it, is that people are getting really excited about this term blockchain, and really selling the functionality of blockchain. Now, anyone who has been trained well on how to sell, it's not about the features or the functions of something, it's about matching the benefits of what a technology or a product can do versus the needs of the individual you're selling it to. So it's all around benefit, value add, and in our last video, I did watch it, I just wasn't in it. I thought it was excellent, but I understood it because we're in this business day to day. So I understand why the value's there, I understand why the benefit's there, and I wanted to take a bit of time to talk around why you as an individual will get benefit, why John would get benefit, why the company is providing you with a service would get benefit. So I'm gonna kick it off on some very top level benefits, and we can discuss specific use cases later in the video. But essentially, it comes down to, straight out the bat, it's ownership of your own information. So this is nothing new to most of you, but signing up to a Facebook or signing up to any website, you are giving your data to them. You have been harvested, my friends, and it's nothing that you can do. They sell that data, advertisers buy it, you then get targeted marketing. You might buy, you might not. Either way, it's a pest. What this means for you is, imagine this beautiful future where we've enabled the sign up of Omnitude ID across almost every site you traditionally visit. You set your preference settings. So actually, I'm shy and retiring, and I don't want to send anyone my information. Everything's off. And what that means is that I own it. It's self-sovereign identity. It's me, I'm in control. Now, John touched beautifully in the last video, which we'll come on to in a sec, around...
What's your phrasing there?
earned data.
Earned data.
I can say that because you're a mate. Earned data. So this means that a retailer will work hard for your information if you're prepared to share it. So you've got your ID. You're going through your tabs and you think, I want to share my favourite colour with this retailer. Mine's blue. I want to share my inside leg measurement. John knows that. I'm not sharing that with you. I want to share my address, my email address, whatever it is. And in return, this retailer, this vendor is going to give me something. So if I'm going to this particular shop 3-4 times a week, and they know what I buy, if I suddenly say, well, I'm going to start giving you my data now, they can in turn offer me 20% discount or discounted tickets or merchandise if you're a team or venue, whatever it might be. It's an exchange. It's a pure exchange. And then it means you get something that's personalised to you. So an example we spoke about the other day was I'm fortunate enough to be blessed with a 1-year-old little boy, and my wife, bless her, has been targeted with post-birth marketing.
Yeah.
Now, anyone who's met my wife knows that she won't be into any of that because she's her own woman, wants to make her own mind up, and I love her dearly for it. But she's become a statistic and a number in a spreadsheet in some marketing tool. Yeah. Actually, through this mechanism, she'll be able to earn things that she actually wants and likes and wants to engage with. So it's a personalised marketing to you because you've chosen to be marketed to. So power to you guys. But also, you know, it's a one-stop shop. This Omnitude ID will become this central store for everything. Now I'm talking years down the line. We're starting with e-commerce, and you know it's a simple place for us to start because we know it so well. But it means that you will have control over your real-world identity in the digital space, and that's for me is fundamental. Ignore what e-com's doing in the background, transacting with different pieces of software. It doesn't matter right now. It's that you're getting something for something that you're providing to somebody else. It's a value exchange.
Yeah, absolutely.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
And then the business side of things, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. And you touched on it beautifully a couple of days ago. So do you want to explore that in a little bit more detail?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there's, you know, you've heard me bang on about data, and I make no apologies for that. Actually, I spent my life using databases. I spent my life generalising consumers. I spent my life slicing and dicing those people and then selling to them. And so for me, this is really exciting. But why change? Why is the game changing? Is the point? And I think this is a really important piece that we need to be aware of. Let's just take blockchain out of the equation for a second. So in the US, there are 66 million baby boomers. Okay, and we all know from a marketing perspective that baby boomers was a very rich seam to mine if you're trying to sell people things. They had a high disposable income. Now, millennials are coming on the scene, the much maligned millennial, who and that's an injustice for that. But there are 77 million millennials currently in the US. Now, those millennials, that millennial market is bigger already than the baby boomer market. Yeah, they might have a little less to spend, but the way they spend it is slightly different as well, and I'll come on to that in a second. So, but just think about this millennial slice for a moment. That market's only going to grow as those millennials move into higher and higher earning jobs and work their way up, you know, through their career progression. They're going to have more and more money to spend. And those 66 million baby boomers that have been such a rich seam are with one, not you know, being a bit blunt here, but they're going to die. You know, so that 66 million is going to decline. That 77 million is going to grow. Why is that important? Well, it's important for several things. So, an Accenture stat here, not mine. Millennials spend $600 billion every year. By 2020, that's going to grow to $1.4 trillion. Now, that's big growth. And that's a lot of money by anyone's books. And you don't need to be, you know, a grade A businessman to know that that's a market that you want to be part of.
I'd like to be.
Yeah, well, yeah. So
can I be?
So the point being is this, right? So millennials are not as easy to fool as baby boomers were. And I'm sorry if you're a baby boomer and you're watching this, but another fact here, another stat to follow that up. So 90% of millennials will shop with any company that is moving towards a greater social purpose. Now that social purpose can be anything. It can be charity donations, it can be ethically sourced products, it can be proving the provenance, it can be organic, it can be anti-child labour, it can be all sorts of things, sustainability. That social purpose umbrella covers all of that. Now, let's go back, let's bring blockchain back into the equation now. We've just put it to one side, let's bring it back in and say, right, blockchain, what's it good at? It's good at proving provenance, it's good at immutably writing proof of manufacture origin, of production origin, of all of those things. Now, it's the right technology at the right time.
Yeah.
So you've got this market that wants that proof and is willing to spend money with people to provide that proof. And you've got a technology that's able to prove that. Now, do people know about blockchain currently outside of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? Maybe not, but we're not talking about today, we're talking about tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. So once people understand that that technology is out there, they might not even know it's blockchain, but they will know that you can irrefutably prove it. It gives those businesses a competitive advantage, and they must adopt. The genie will be out of the bottle. Once millennials know this technology is out there, they will hold these businesses' feet to the fire on any claims that they make. So you have an ethically sourced t-shirt, sustainably sourced t-shirt that can prove its provenance on the blockchain, and you have one that can't. Even though it might still be sustainably sourced, there's only one winner in that equation when the genie is out of the bottle and millennials know this technology is there.
Proof. Just comes back to proof.
Proof.
And I think as well, there's a really important point to take from that. It's about understanding who your audience are. So
Absolutely.
I've been fortunate enough to work in a number of businesses where optimization of websites is really key, conversion rates is a point, but above everything else, you need to know who your customers are. It's about audience focus. So this leads quite nicely into what Omnitude Core is. Now, you would have heard us on the website and other publications, previous videos talk about middleware. The whistle-stop tour of that is old system talks to new system with us in the middle translating, or any middleware in the middle translating. That is going to be fundamental to what we do to enable the adoption of the tech.
Yeah, absolutely.
That goes without saying. But what we're doing in creating the ecosystem within Core is putting the power in the hands of the individual and the business to create. Now, if you understand your audience, you should certainly know the needs within your business as well. Now, that could be financial, product, it could be autonomous vehicles, it might be a whole host of things, and I'm not in all of those businesses, so I can't say. But what I can say is that every business has problems, everyone. And by creating an ecosystem and a support network and a framework by where you can come into our ecosystem, create your decentralized app with our support and deploy it through Omnitude, means that your solution can be used in the real world, means that your private solution as a business can be used in the real world, which also means you don't have to chuck hundreds of thousands, arguably millions, into designing and developing a product from scratch. You can come in and build it on our framework. And that is going to save a lot of time and money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've got, I mean, there's plenty of businesses out there that are dabbling in blockchain. It's unlikely those that are going to use blockchain for their own use and not take it to market are going to invest in product development to hold on to it. They will use other businesses. And typically that's been an IBM, SAP, Oracle type business.
Yeah.
And you know, these guys are in the game as well. But ultimately they are doing something entirely different. Stovepipe solutions.
Yeah.
And that's equally fine, because what we want to give is consumer choice. So we're not saying that you must use our application. We're not saying that because you've come to Omnitude, you have to use our solution. We're saying, actually, ID is amazing and arguably is the best thing out there at the moment. And will continue to be so because we're going to innovate. But if somebody else comes along with a different option that they want to deploy through our core platform, more power to them, because it's about what's right for the customer at the end of the day. It's not about us saying, here's our square solution and you must put it in your round hole, for want of a better phrase.
Well, no, but absolutely. And so it's this Omnitude Core is an abstracted framework. It's deliberately fluid enough for businesses to be able to plug in their own particular needs. So we are not giving them an out of the can solution. We are working with them to help them reap the benefits of this new technology without having to update their old systems. And that's really important. And one of the advantages that we have is when you look at the personnel that's involved in Omnitude, you go on the site and you look at our key personnel within the business, you'll find that most of us come from those big businesses, because we've seen it. We've seen these integrations happen. We've seen the time and the effort and the money that goes into it, And I don't know about you, Ben, but I've seen it when they don't work.
Plenty.
And it is agony. And businesses can lose years in business development just purely through doing this. So we're not going into business saying you need to strip out the old and replace it with the new. That's not what we're doing, because we know how painful that is. What we're saying is we can help you adopt this new technology without having to strip out the old.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a way there for everybody to win. And you know, the title of this is Revenue and Real World Application. So I'm going to be crude and go straight to money. Revenue is fundamentally important to a business, but we actually see it as something that's really important for our ecosystem and environment, of which you are going to be part of. If you have an Omnitude ID, you are going to be part of that. You can earn knowingly or otherwise. If you are operating one of our nodes, which we'll touch on later, a bit more technical, but it means that you will have the ability to earn. So how do we make our money? This is a question that we've been asked a lot.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think there's lots of chat about who's the biggest and best and ugliest in the world of blockchain, and I think at the moment it's who's got the biggest marketing budget right now.
Yeah.
Who's making the most money? Doesn't matter. I think what we need to do is make sure that we have a sustainable business model, which we do, but that we earn, that our users earn, that our clients earn, and that actually it's a virtuous circle. So the first way that we make revenue is through our native token, which is ecom. So ecom has baked in utility into the platforms that we're building. You won't know that you are using ecom. You won't know that we're using ecom. The businesses won't know that ecom is being used. Every time you say, yes, I would like someone to have access to my email address, yes, I would like someone to have access to my favorite color, that information is being written into the blockchain. That is a transaction. It's not a pounds and pence for a product. It is a transaction, and ecom will take care of that. If a vendor or a retailer is then accessing that information, that is a read transaction. Yeah. Ecom is being transacted. So what you've got behind the scenes is a highway of ecom tokens going backwards and forth, creating an environment where the nodes generate revenue. Now, we will take a portion of that revenue, that net revenue, and the node holders will take a larger portion of that net revenue. So that is the first way of us earning revenue. The second way is probably one that you're all familiar with, is we're going to charge our clients. I'm sorry to break that to you clients, but that's just how it's going to go. So in order to access that information, we've already emphasized the value of that information and how companies can use it. You're not getting it for nothing. But equally, you're going to save all the wasted spend on marketing that might work, that might land, that might convert. You're going to have a one-to-one marketing capability. So in accessing that information, you're providing yourself with much stronger data and analytics in order to market to. So the revenue that we would get for that is a monthly or annual figure that will be based around paid per access. So it might be on a credits basis. But we'll look at fixed term contracts that will include a profit margin. Now, sensible thing to say, there will be a margin there, but we'll be really transparent about what our running costs are, because we're not about to go and start creating hundreds of thousands, millions of pounds worth of invoices for zero justification. So anyone who's spending any money with us will get every understanding of the value. Full stop.
Absolutely.
Third way, licensing. So we are creating something that can be used broadly across a number of verticals, industries, businesses, and that in itself has its challenges, because we need to stay focused. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. So we are, we'll come into the use cases in a sec, but we are focusing in certain areas. Now, what that will enable us to do is build environments and software that we can license, that can be white labeled, that can be reused by another business for their client base. And we fully encourage that, because for me, our brand guy might disagree slightly, but I'm not going to put words in his mouth. It's not about hanging the Omnitude badge over the door. It's about getting the technology into the space where it can be used, where it can protect people, where it can be of benefit to people. So we're going to license this software as well. The pricing of licensing, if you go online and have a look at other licensing models, range from the sublime to the ridiculous. I need to emphasize again, everyone licensing will understand the value. They have to understand the value and the return on investment. So we're not going to pick a number out of the air and stick a price tag on it. And the fourth way is leveraging the assets that we have in terms of human beings in this building. Not just in the building.
Human beings in this building?
They're disguised as human beings. There are brains here that are way more impressive than mine. Equal to John's. But it's, we are helping people take their own solutions in-house. We are helping people understand the benefits of the technology, the value of the technology, what it means, and actually is blockchain the answer? Because I think, again, coming back to my point at the beginning, do you want to put a blockchain label on it if you don't need it?
Yeah, exactly. It's not always the answer.
No.
It's not always the answer.
No, it isn't. So we're a technology company that is heavily emphasised on blockchain, but we explore whatever is appropriate to meet the client need, in short. So the fourth and final revenue stream, for now, is a consultancy model. So if you are looking for support, be it phone call, workshops, design and build bespoke products, we'll work with you on that. But managing expectations, the first and foremost is delivering our product and taking it to market in a workable, functioning, awesome state, which we are doing, and hopefully the display of the Omnitude ID a couple of days ago really hammers that home.
Absolutely, and when we're talking about this product, this particular product, it's no coincidence that we build it on Hyperledger and we're using Stellar, because we've done that on purpose so that we get a fast transacting, hard hitting enterprise tech stack. We've got the best technology that we can possibly get currently at our fingertips, and we are using it, to the best that we possibly can. And it's important that you understand that we've thought long and hard about this, and we believe that what we've got is the equal of anything that's out there currently.
Without a doubt. So revenue, how do you earn? We've already talked about sharing your information. You'll earn through benefits and rewards, but actually you will start to obtain ecom through Omnitude ID. The traditional method of utilising that is HODL. Or you can go onto exchanges, trade it for anything else, or cash out to fiat currency, whatever it is you want to do. That's entirely your own prerogative. And then the vendors and the users of the software will create these new commercial opportunities for themselves by understanding their audience better, being able to upsell and cross-sell. So I'm going to talk about a few use cases that we're exploring right now. They have kept me awake at night through anticipation and excitement, if I'm honest, and we are going in 2 feet first. So e-commerce won't be any surprise. We are rolling out our beta version of Omnitude ID, and we are entering a phase of testing and workshops with both users and retailers alike.
Absolutely.
The retailers in these groups, you will all know. We have approached them for specific reasons in order to feed into the development of what we're trying to achieve and make sure we've got a market for it when we're ready. So we're really excited about that. Then the one that really is taking up a lot of my time right now, we haven't been very public about it, but it's around sports and entertainment. And sports and entertainment has been a natural evolution of Omnitude Core and Omnitude ID for, in my mind, a simple reason. But if I talk you through it, hopefully you'll understand. Have you ever bought a ticket to a gig, a club, cinema, whatever it might be, and then been unable to go at the last minute?
Yeah. Last week.
Where did you go?
I bought a ticket.
Or where did you not go?
Well, where I didn't go, I bought a ticket to see Anna Calvi. I don't know if you know Anna Calvi, but I couldn't make it. But I couldn't sell the ticket on because the only person I had that wanted it was female, and it had, you know, Mr. Jon Harris on the ticket with my address and this, that, and the other. So they've protected me from buying a hooky ticket. I get that, but at the same time, completely closed me down from actually being able to sell that ticket on. So, so you know,
prime example.
Prime example.
Prime example. So you are locked down in terms of what you can do with tickets. There is a massive secondary market for tickets. We know that. I'm not going to mention any brand names, but if you want to get rid of a ticket early enough, you probably can. But ticketing is one bit. So imagine the football team wants to know who's bought their ticket. You buy it through your Omnitude ID, ticket gets assigned to you. Now, there are 3 levels of certification here. There's authenticity. Is it a real ticket? There's who has possession of said ticket. Now, is it the club that's issuing it or the third party that's issuing it? And then there's ownership of said ticket. If I can't go and I want to sell it to John, John's got an Omnitude ID, so we can transact through Omnitude ID. You then have possession and ownership of that ticket. It's on your ID.
Yep.
The benefit to the club or the venue or the promoter is not only have they have my data for their contact management system, they've now got yours.
Yep. If we choose to share it.
If you choose to share it.
If we choose to share it.
And if you want to sell it on to your brother,
yep.
if he wants to sell it on to whoever else, you've got multiple layers of CRM data. Now, imagine you didn't sell the ticket. You go to, I'm going to go with the football game. You go to the football game. The ticket is associated to you. You're a season ticket holder at Chelsea. You are now in an environment where you have a ticket. They know you are in the venue. What are you into? Do you like pies? Do you like pints? Do you like buying your football scarf? Do you like the merchandise? What are you after? What are you interested in? As your profile builds up through a purchase history, in stand, away from the game, if you allow to share that information, it means that Chelsea or another can say, well, this guy is really, or girl is really into their merchandise. They're really into their consumables.
Yeah.
You know, they want to buy the air horns, whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But because I know that, I know what they're buying, and they've said they know what they're buying, I can start to offer them a discount.
Yes. Yeah.
So we know that you spend 20 grand a year through season tickets and merchandise. Actually, I think you've got a better chance of buying an FA Cup final ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if ever Chelsea got to the FA Cup final.
If.
Yeah, no, but I'd go for the air horn though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was the other ones they called? What were the ones they had at the World Cup?
Yeah,
the Vuvuzelas. Have I said that right?
Yeah.
Put it in the comments, wherever that is. I forgot what it is. But anyway, you can buy what you like. You can share what you like. The company can then market to you and say, this is what you're after. Actually, you want a discount on your next season ticket. You want to understand what premium matches you can get access to. Tickets go on sale to an FA Cup World Final or World Cup Final. Chances are you're not going to get them because they sell out like that, or they're pre-sold, or they're distributed to a third party for a markup. Power back to you. You get to get the benefits. Potentially, you know, this is all blue sky thinking, but it means that Omnitude ID sits at the center of all of that. You create this persona, this desire and hopes for what you want to achieve with that team, and then you draw down on it. You milk that team for everything that you want. They get conversion, they get money, you get better tickets, more merch, and it's a beautiful thing that everyone benefits from.
You say it's blue sky thinking, but actually these are the conversations that you're having in these rooms.
They are.
So it's not us selling in the dream to these businesses. It's a two-way conversation because they see the value of this for themselves.
Massive. It's massive. And the thing for me, and I said it before, just because we can doesn't mean we should. But actually, when we're going down and exploring this, it's, you know, I'm getting excited about this because you've got a whole secondary market. So you can even apply it to luxury goods, right?
Oh well, that's a corker, isn't it?
So there's an advert by Patek Philippe, a beautiful print advert that I saw a few months back that says, "You never own one, you're only a custodian of it," or words to that effect. And actually, it becomes an heirloom and you pass it down. As your baby boomers die, the millennial gets the watch.
Absolutely. And the other piece is you can plug in other technology on top of that. So if you've got this immutable record of ownership. So I owned a Rolex. I don't. You know, I'd like to, but I don't. You know. Now, if I owned that, I'd worked really hard to get that. I'd spent a lot of money on it. And maybe, I won't be too gloomy, but if I was to shuffle off this mortal coil, I might want my daughter or my son to have my Rolex. So I can, through Rolex, through this blockchain technology, transfer that ownership to either my daughter or my son. And they can continue that brand relationship with Rolex. Now, the story that I like, the one that I span you, was this idea of maybe using other technologies alongside blockchain.
Made me cry.
If I was to pass that on and say they read my will, I was no longer around, they read my will, and just say my daughter got the Rolex and she registered it with Rolex, actually within this vault that I've got at Rolex, this digital vault that's unlocked by my identity, I've left a video in there that she will be able to play and understand why the watch is important to me and why I've given it to her. I think, you know, we're back to talking about people and people's lives.
Yeah.
So the technology is an enabler, but it's not the be-all and end-all.
I agree. And it comes back to this sales thing, right? So business-to-business sales, business-to-consumer sales, it's human to human.
Yes,
every single step of the way, it's human to human. So what is true in the real world, how you interact, what you want to do, what you want to share, what you want to engage with, you can digitize and actually make yours through your Omnitude ID and then pass on to whoever you want, be it a morbid situation or a much more joyous one.
Yes, absolutely.
Sharing your Anna Calvi ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that there are opportunities. So sport and entertainment is, you know, that is capturing my attention right now, and we're having some really, really exciting chats. Then there is obviously supply chain. Now, it is a fundamental piece of what we're going to be doing, but it's not necessarily supply chain, it's value chain. At every given point in a process, someone has something, be it data, be it a product, and it ends up over here. There's a value exchange all across that. Now, it might be that you need to keep a lung on ice for emergency transplant in surgery. Well, how do you make sure that that box is the right temperature? Where is it in traffic? Who's riding the bike? Whose body is it going in when it gets to the hospital? I'm now coming up with morbid ideas since you put that away.
I've started you off on one now, haven't I?
We'll come away from morbid stuff. But the point is you can also understand that what is true for humans is true for devices.
Yes.
Is true for things.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Creating, which we are, an environment where it isn't just input by a human being into the blockchain or a system. It is a product or a piece of tech or a thermostat or a GPS tracker, whatever it is. Token exchanges, more transactions of e-com, building volume, building an ecosystem, and it all starts to communicate with each other. And it comes back to these three things. It comes back to authenticity, it comes back to possession, and it comes back to ownership.
Absolutely.
Now, set yourself a task. Authenticity, possession, ownership. What industry do you work in, and can that apply? And I'm almost certain the answer is going to be yes. There's going to be a few random ones that come up in the comments now, I'm sure.
What I want to do, I just want to rewind to that point you made. And I think, you know, it's the most, what is true for people is also true for things. So this work that we're doing to develop the Omnitude ID is not just about a self-sovereign identity for a person. It is about the ability to be able to identify objects or transactions or things of value, data, whatever, through a process. And so we're not reinventing the wheel every time. We can look at self-sovereign identity and alongside that look at supply chains because the principles are quite similar.
Yeah, right.
And so it goes back to this idea of this abstracted framework. This idea of having a system flexible enough to say, well, okay, we build these things once, we can tweak and expand and contract and make bespoke services out of them, but we're building them once and we're using them again and again and again across different sectors, different businesses, and for different things, and people or things.
Totally, and the companies that I'm speaking to are cautious of spend.
Yes,
and they
absolutely.
don't
Why
need to
wouldn't they
be,
be?
because actually what we've got is, you know, arguably the holy grail of what we're trying to achieve, and actually you provide something that's then bespoke off of our core platform. So it's relatively inexpensive, and it will generate a return on investment fairly quickly. So in terms of where we put our money, in terms of profit, it's back into more product development and innovation. And as I said, one vertical, one sector at a time. Now, we don't do this on our own. I think it'd be truly arrogant to attempt it. Ambitious somewhat, but you know, we need to make sure that we're aligned with the right partners. I'm not going to announce any new partners today, so don't get excited about that. But what I will do is I've broken down just some of the conversations we're happening and the types of businesses we're talking to. And I've written it down because there's a few. So we are talking to 2 of the world leaders in cybersecurity and data storage, 3 top flight sports teams over the globe, different sports, 2 governing bodies within those sports, 2 global arenas and circuits, 1 world leader in ports and shipping, 2 governments, and a significant number of retailers and mass market retailers as well, and luxury good providers. So that's a snippet. That's why my hair's white. We're all over the place.
Yes.
We are talking to a lot of people. We're doing a lot of research. We're staying true to our model. We're trying to stay true to what we promised you, and add value at every given stage. So that hopefully will give you an insight into what we're doing from a revenue perspective, some of the real world use cases. But basically, we want to be exploring many verticals once we've mastered some. So we don't want to spread ourselves too thin. So it's all about mastery for us. When we've done that, then we can basically say confidently, we can knock all of the other competitors out of the park, or we can enable those competitors to get their services into the clients as well. So it's about technology enablement.
Well, I know we haven't started answering any questions
yet.
yet, but I know that there will be a question coming up, and I think this is I'd rather answer it in this forum, because I think it actually makes a good, interesting conversation. So we're not the only player. There's some really big boys in this park. You've got the IBMs, you've got the Oracles, you've got the SAPs of this world. Now, we're not getting kicked out of the room because these boys are in this world as well. We're getting invited in precisely because this idea of what blockchain is and the benefits that it can is being promoted by the likes of Oracle and IBM and SAP and all that. And people are starting to really understand it, but they don't necessarily want this rigid system that they're working on.
Yep.
And that's why we're having conversations after the fact they've talked to these people, because they've talked to these people and they haven't quite got the answer that they wanted. So it's a bit of a moot point to think that the big boys are going to clean up, because I don't think they are. I think there's a massive gap in the market for an agile business that is willing to go the extra mile to help these businesses adopt this technology.
Yep, I'd agree. That's my experience of having these conversations as
Yep.
well. So I can back that up fully.
I'm glad it's you in the room and not me. That's all I can say.
Yeah, well, me too.
Right. Thank you very much.
I jest.
Thank you.
So
very much.
I think that's covered off a lot of what we wanted to cover off. No doubt you're going to have a lot of questions as well. So we've got some pre-prepared questions. And we got some coming through on the chat channel. I'll get my laptop in a second and have a look. So I'm going to go through some that were previously submitted ahead of this video. So one question we got was, what costs will be covered with the revenue? Will there be profit? And if Omnitude is making profit, how will it be used in the future? Do you want to take that one?
Well, part of that will be a reinvestment back into the awareness of who we are. So you've got to get the message out there, because we are reaching people. We're getting faces in front of faces. We've got skin in the game, all of those. However, there's a big wide world out there. So when we do start to produce sizable revenues, we'll be moving that back into promoting our ecosystem, because it's important that we, the more we promote Omnitude and our solutions, the more the ecosystem benefits from it. It's quite it's a complex economic model, but they're mutually supporting pieces. So, and the more we get the message out there, the more transactions there'll be on our system. Totally. And so it benefits everyone. Benefits both our token holders and our business itself.
Yep, absolutely. What benefits will users have when they use an application on the Omnitude network? Well, I guess it comes down to what application they're using. I mean, you can create your own and there'll be all sorts of benefits, but it comes down to the principles of blockchain, really. You own your own data. It's immutable. It's secure. It's entirely up to you. Rewards and benefits, a whole host of benefits out there, but depends on the app, depends on the situation.
And there's an added piece there on online security as well.
Yep.
So the ability to that sensitive data, your payment details, and all that can be protected within the blockchain.
Completely.
Rather than being in a centralized silo somewhere that someone can hack.
After integrating with CS Cart, will you be approaching e-commerce carts directly or waiting for them to approach you? The short answer is yes. We're not going to sit on our hands and just wait for someone to come and knock on the door. We are neither known enough or established enough to be able to be that arrogant. And even if we were, I wouldn't dream of doing it. It's not a tactic I want to undertake. So we will be knocking on doors. We will be ensuring that we are getting access to these platforms. And if we are unable, we need to make sure that we have our insurance policy to be able to say that the users of these platforms can adopt Omnitude ID and services without it being integrated natively into those systems as well.
Yes. And it's all about this idea of promoting the adoption of this technology as well. So we're going to try and make it as easy as we possibly can for those sort of businesses to be able to adopt the Omnitude ID.
Yeah. There's a couple of questions here that I think I touched on a little bit, but around large corporations working on proprietary blockchain solutions. So are we leaving the room open? Are we planning on leaving room open for cross-blockchain integration? So, I mean, we're a hybrid blockchain solution anyway. What we're trying to do is make sure that they don't have to invest as much money in doing it. Like, build it on Omnitude, it will be way cheaper, it will stand up longer, and stand the test of time. So we're using, as John's already said, two of the heaviest hitters out there in terms of Hyperledger and Stellar. So we have the relationships, we have the skill set, we have the platform, and the structure to come and build on. So I would argue there's room for us. If you want to do your own thing, that's entirely up to you. Spend all that money. But each to their own. Each to their own. What else have we got? Should we go for some YouTube questions? Shall we have a look? Have you got any questions there?
Have we got any questions coming through at all, guys?
We'll unlock the laptop and have a look.
Yeah, have a look, Ben. Let's see what we got.
Okay, so what I want to do is set up a bit of a forum in the next coming days where we've got access to our Telegram channel. We're all in there as well. So I'm Ben Omnitude. You are
Kaiser Harris, I think.
Kaiser. We'll make sure that all of our Telegram handles are up and public, and you can come and harass us in there, and we'll give you the answers. And we've got a phenomenal group of community helpers who are very well versed in what we're trying to achieve and do, who can help us if we can't. We would love your business ideas. We would love your sector ideas. We would love all feedback, positive, negative, ugly, and different, because that's how we get better. So engage with us on social media. Find us, seek us out, email us. We will make ourselves available to you, because this is for you. This is for the community. This is for the ecosystem. This is for a better technological space, as far as I'm concerned.
That gets me there, Ben.
Hey, I might go up against McAfee in the presidential campaign.
I think you should. Now, if you've got any further ideas of what you'd like to see in the next live stream, that would be great too. So you can leave a comment below, or again back to Twitter or Telegram or any of our social channels as well. It would be great to hear from you. We're going to try and make this a much more of a regular thing. I think we might actually call this call this one our fireside chat.
Fireside chat.
So call this our fireside chat, and it won't just be me and Ben. Don't worry. I think you've probably seen enough of me for a start. So we'll get other members of the business in as well. So if you've got any further ideas, just let us know, and we'll see whether we're up for doing it.
Sure. Sean Collins, and same as above. I've got a few questions here. So I know we'd nearly wrap that up, but I might as well do it.
Okay, well, just
we're here. What about government sectors like NHS? They could recommend that all individuals that pay tax use Omnitude to list their conditions, previous medical histories that saves them time. That's a perfect use case. You can do that. It's if we have the relationships at either end and there is enough people using it and value add, yeah. When is another thing, and making sure you're looking at government sectors to get on board with it. That's another beauty. That's a slow, laborious thing. But,
yes.
but Sean, absolutely, you understand the premise of what we're trying to do. When will the supernodes go live? From same as above. Supernodes are being discussed in the Telegram off-topic chat. They are yet to be fully scoped out and determined. The same with the nodes. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that everything is rock solid before we share that information. For those who aren't interested in nodes or the technological side, we could probably take this away from this video and discuss that in Telegram. But if you are interested in nodes, we can issue a full working statement when everything is completely designed and ready to roll out, so they will be functional. And one more question is, how will the partners like Williams use ecom? Will it affect the open market value of the token? I can't publicly talk how Williams will use it at the moment, but ultimately we are going to have a mix of private and public blockchain solutions. Yes. So where ecom will be baked into these processes, it will, and it will affect the open market value. If it isn't and it's private and it doesn't, it won't. I think it just needs to be as simple as that.
Private permissioned. It's private permission. There's no public chain.
Yes.
There, so,
yeah.
But
still be charged in ecom.
Yeah, ecom will still be used within the ecosystem, so it will have an effect. On the value of the token, of course, because it's about the transaction. Yeah. But ultimately, we're a little bit more focused on trying to get as many businesses into that ecosystem as possible, so that we are using that ecosystem to its fullest, and we are maximising the use of the nodes that we will be using. So we are 100% focused on getting businesses to adopt our systems. The rest will follow, I think.
I think so. I hope so. It will. Cool. Well, that's all we've got time for.
That's all we've got time for.
Shuffle your papers.
So yeah, is that what the newsreaders do?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, so I think it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from him. And I think it's time for lights out.
Cheers, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.